Okay, in this chapter we've been talking about kitchen safety, and we've been talking about recipes. We're going to talk about altering recipes a little bit today. Trying to get this a little bit bigger. I read this page in a previous lesson at one point. There we go. Okay, so I didn't read this little side part here. It says safety first. To safely use knives, use sharp knives. They're less likely to slip and cause an accident. Always use a cutting board. Never hold the food in your hand while cutting or cut toward yourself. Do not cut toward yourself. And I actually watched a cooking video last week and someone was cutting toward themselves. Of course, it scared me the whole time, so be careful. When using one hand to hold the food steady, tuck your fingers under, which I there's a picture right here where they're tucking it. I put my fingers more like this to where the knife would maybe possibly touch my knuckles right here. Okay, it says that way your knuckles, not your fingertips, are closest to the knife. Okay, and then let me get down to the next page here. We talked about cooking terms already. Okay, so we're on the part where it says altering recipes. You don't have to follow every recipe exactly as it's written. You may want to change the number of servings, as many people do, which is what, you would double a recipe or cut the recipe in half if you're not feeding a big crowd. You may need to substitute another ingredient for one that you don't have. The following guidelines may help you alter or change recipes successfully. Okay, and here is another one of our vocabulary words, changing the yield of a recipe. So yield, the definition for that is the amount of food or number of servings a recipe makes is called a yield. If you want more or fewer servings, you need to alter a recipe. To do this, put your math skills and knowledge of equivalent measurements to work. So if it calls for a half cup, your math skills that you've known forever and ever, half plus half equals 1 whole. So that would be a math skill. Okay, making substitutions. It's not fun to be in the middle of preparing a recipe and suddenly discover that you're missing an ingredient. Happens to me all the time. Before you begin, read through the ingredients list to make sure you have all the items on hand. And this is key. You take the time to look through your ingredients list and make sure you have everything. I notice sometimes when I'm cooking, I'll buy something that goes with a recipe and then it gets used for another recipe, and then I go to make the original recipe and I don't have everything for it because I used it in something else. Okay, this part here is talking about changing. Oh, that's better. I can see that better. Changing the yield of a recipe. Suppose you're going to prepare a favorite casserole recipe. You want to make 4 servings, but the recipe yields 8. Follow these simple steps to cut your recipe in half. Divide the number of servings you want by the original yield. The answer is the number you'll use to calculate the new amount for each ingredient. In this example, 4 divided by 8 equals half. Because what is half of 8? 4. Okay, multiply the amount of each ingredient by half. If the recipe calls for 2 pounds of ground beef, you'd use 1 pound, so 2 times half equals 1. And so, you might be seeing this from algebra class. Convert measurements as needed. As you multiply, you may need to convert from one unit of measure to another. If a recipe calls for 1/4 of a cup of grated cheese, the new amount would be 1/8 of a cup. So 1/4 times half equals 1/8. If you don't have a 1/8 of a cup utensil, use the chart on page 476 to help you figure out an equivalent measure. And that's something you can Google search as well. Calculate the new amount for each ingredient in the recipe. Write the new amount down so you don't forget to change an amount. To double a recipe, simply multiply the amount of each ingredient by 2. So the last e-learning lesson was about doubling recipes. Doubling a recipe requires a pan that's twice as large or 2 pans the original size. and the baking or cooking time may also have to be adjusted. If you double the recipe of the pan size, you'll likely need to bake the mixture a little longer. So if it says 350 degrees for 20 minutes, you might have to cook it at 350 degrees because you don't double the rest or the degrees, but you may have to, what did I say, 20 minutes? It might be 25, it might be 30 minutes. It's not going to be double though, but it might take a little bit longer, and that's where you'd have to set the timer to the original time and then check it every so often. Okay, if you don't have an ingredient, you may be able to make a substitution. Experience shows that some ingredients can be used in place of others with good results. Some of these substitutions are listed in the chart on page 481. You may find others listed in the cookbook. Okay, so we'll look at that later. I want to read this side note here. So tips. Using herbs and spices. Herbs grow in temperature climates and are the fragrant leaves of plants. Spices grow in tropical climates and come from a bark, buds, fruits, roots, seeds, or stems, or plants and trees. When cooking with herbs and spices, keep in mind, avoid too many herbs and spices in one dish. A few herbs and spices accent the flavor and taste of food. Substitute dried or fresh herbs in a recipe by using the following equivalents. 1 teaspoon of dried herbs equals 1 tablespoon of fresh herbs. So I don't know if you ever knew that or not, but that's something to kind of keep up there for future recipes. So 1 teaspoon of dry herbs equals 1 tablespoon of fresh herbs. Because if you dry out herbs, it takes out the moisture in it. Crumble dried herbs between your fingers before adding the other ingredients to release more flavor or aroma. If a recipe calls for a long cooking time, soups and stews, and herbs and spices add them toward the end of cooking. Add spices and herbs to liquid ingredients. The moisture brings out the flavor. Chop fresh herbs very fine. Cut surfaces release more flavor. So I definitely like to use the fresh herbs and spices if at all possible, especially through the summertime and from my garden. Sometimes you can't get those locally. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson for today.